Hi, my name is Sally O'Boyle, and I live in Escazu, Costa Rica. I'm originally from Kentucky, and I've been living in Key West, Florida for the past about 30 years. I'm married there, and I have two teenage boys, and our whole family moved here to Costa Rica in January of 2006. We're doing this filming for the VIP members of WeLoveCostaRica.com. In my previous life in Key West, for the last about 14 years, I was a real estate broker. I'm still a licensed real estate broker in the state of Florida. I have my own business there, and I still do property management there. We live in Escazu, which is in the Central Valley of Costa Rica, and I'm a city girl. I love living where there are people, where there's lots of action. When I look out my window, I can see the entire Central Valley and up in the mountains of Heredia across the way. Escazu is the most modern, from what I know and my experience, Escazu is the most modern city in Costa Rica. So you have the most gringo expat services here. We have reliable high-speed internet. So it's just the most modern, and but even still there are cows wandering in our street, and we drive past cow poop at least once a day. So it's still the country, but we love it here. A little bit of everything. When we first came to Costa Rica, we came on a whim, pretty much as a lark. We wanted to have an international adventure. We wanted to go someplace where they spoke a foreign language. So my business was suffering greatly in Key West. The market was faltering. We'd had 4 hurricanes in a row. We needed a break. So we decided to come to Costa Rica. And we only meant to stay for a year. But we fell in love with it here. We fell in love with the quality of life. We fell in love with the energy of Costa Rica. It is way more relaxed. In Key West, they say, oh, this is manana land. Well, Costa Rica has Key West beat by a mile as far as manana land goes. It's very relaxing. We love it here. When we told our family and friends that we were moving to Costa Rica, they said, Costa Rica? Why? Because it's you know, as my husband said before, when we first thought about moving to Costa Rica, it just seemed so exotic and so wild and so just such an adventure. And when we first got here, it was an adventure. I don't know how we survived, because all we knew was hola and como está, but it is now that we've been here for a while, it just seems so normal, and it's just a lovely place to live. And they were all just shocked, and they're still shocked, but I can't. I wish I could convince them to come and see how great it is. Also, as a mother, moving here with my 2 teens, one of whom had asthma, I was concerned about the health care here. My husband and I, right away, because we're both over 50, he way over 50, I'm just barely over 50, we decided that we should have colonoscopies. And in the United States, a colonoscopy in Key West at that time was $5,000. So we decided, okay, we're going to do it. It cost $220 a piece. It was as modern and beautiful an office as you could ever expect to find. It was fast, it was painless, the doctor was lovely, he spoke English. And everything we've done, I've had my teeth done, I had a little bit of plastic surgery. We've had tons of exams and blood tests. It's all been incredibly affordable and just as good as anything we've ever had in the States. My son, the one who had asthma, now needs an operation in a couple of weeks, and he'll have to have his adenoids removed and have his septum straightened out. It's going to be very affordable, probably less than a third of what it would cost in the United States. I have absolute confidence in the healthcare here. And people, again, when you tell people in the United States you're having medical care, an operation in Costa Rica, they're shocked and appalled. But if they would come down here, I mean, if I ever moved away from Costa Rica, if I moved back to the United States, I'd come here for my medical care. So, I want to talk a little bit about cost of living in Costa Rica as compared to Key West. In a lot of areas, the cost of living is the same. The food is the same. It just comes out the same. The 2 areas where it's quite a bit less expensive, the first is healthcare. In the States, we paid $900 a month for the 4 of us for health insurance that we never used and didn't get us anything. It didn't cover doctor's visits or medication. The other is where you live. Here, we rent a house for less than half of what it would cost us to rent a comparable house in Key West. Property taxes here are much less. In Key West, if you bought a house for $500,000, you'd pay $5,000 a year in property taxes. That may be less than some other places, but for Key West, all the houses there are $500,000 to $1 million and up. Windstorm insurance was at least as much as the property taxes, and apparently the windstorm has gone up in the past. We've been gone for 3 years, so it's gone up a lot. It's you'll pay $1,500 to $2,000 a month just in property taxes and in insurance costs there. The other area that's way less expensive for us is we live at 4,000 feet. The temperature is perfect, so we don't have air conditioning and we don't have heat. And in Key West, you went from your air-conditioned car to your air-conditioned house all the time. So our electric bill in Key West was between $300 and $500 a month, and that's an expense that we don't have here. And apparently there they just raised the rate, so we're making out here. What we miss most about being back home in Key West, although this is really home now, but what we miss most about being in Key West is our buddies. We lived there for almost 30 years. We have a real community of people there that we love and that we miss. And so we go back and visit every now and then. We don't miss the States, and we don't really miss Key West so much. We just miss our buddies. But we've made a lot of friends here, and I sing in a band called Harmony Roads, and that is great fun. And I didn't have that opportunity in Key West, and I love that here. And they also have, I'm very active in the Little Theater Group, so I have a lot of the same enjoyments, and I can exercise my hobbies here that I love. As I said, when we first came to Costa Rica, it was such an exotic place and such an adventure. And every place we went, oh, look at that, and oh, look at that, and oh my God, look at those ditches, and oh, there's a pothole, and there's a chair in the pothole, and everything was so exotic and so new. And now it's like we just drive around the chairs and the potholes. And we can go anywhere. My husband speaks really good Spanish because he has really practiced, and I can get along. I can go I don't have any qualms about going anywhere by myself. I know enough Spanish that I can muddle through. It is but that whole mindset of the world, you know, there was the United States where everybody in the world wants to live because, of course, it's the best place in the world to live, and you have more opportunities, and it's just the best, and nobody would ever question that. Once you leave the United States, you look back and you go, okay, it's great there. There are some wonderful things about it, but there's a whole world out there. And now Costa Rica just seems like such a regular place, and they speak a foreign language. But you can manage to get around. You can hire an interpreter, or you can really manage to get around for the most part. So once you've conquered a foreign country, you have the whole world out there. And a lot of still the people who say you're going to keep living in Costa Rica, they don't quite get that. I would love for people to break out of that box and experience. There's just way less anxiety about the rest of the world once you've lived someplace else, even for a short time. And I'm really grateful for that opportunity. I don't have any real Tica girlfriends here. I don't speak the language well enough yet. But the Tico people are lovely. They have always been very friendly and very warm. I love that about Costa Rica. The people here are not aggressive unless they're driving. But for the most part, they're very calm and very relaxed, and I don't feel any. I feel very welcome here. As far as our future in Costa Rica, I think we got here a little kind of in an odd way. We moved here for a year, and then we just ended up staying. We love Costa Rica. We do need an income, and we're trying to figure that out now. Our our ideal life would be to have an income and to be able to live in Costa Rica and have this be our home base and do some traveling. We don't want to live in the United States again. There's no place else. You know, we look around now that we're, you know, world travelers, international world travelers, and expats. You know, once you live in a foreign country, the whole world is open to you. So that's very exciting. And but so far, we're so content here that we look at other places, we think about it, but we're quite happy here. And you know, for the moment, our dream is to be able to afford to live in Costa Rica and to do some traveling. That would be perfect. Again, this is Sally O'Boyle from Escazu, Costa Rica, saying hasta luego, and read WeLoveCostaRica.com.